racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall, they're gonna crash! They both crash!
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
What is up, everyone? I am Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tool Supra.
Comes back, he's gonna send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're gonna Joshua Banks is gonna win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of M&J Distributors for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to VSPEED and subscribe to them because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, you know, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, you know, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on track.
Lap traffic out of the way. It's between these two. They're even for the white flag lap.
This race still very undecided.
Bradley had the lift. Big run for McWhorter. This is going to be his chance.
They're running out of time, and they know it. Horsepower at their feet.
That was a huge run for Bradley. He got back the advantage, but here comes a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Here comes Ray Massey. Ray Massey's going to win it.
It's taken 19 races and 11 different winners to get here tonight. But for the end of season number 3, it's 11 points separating Jeff Wright and Joshua Banks. live from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me all season long, Connor Horn, co-commentator in the booth. Connor, we got a lot to talk about, but I think right now the main focus that we have to really bring up is Jeff Wright is on the edge of losing another championship. He was oh so close last season. Here he is again at a track he dominates. Does it slip away? Do we have a third different champion?
We'll just have to wait and see. The last 2 seasons, it's been races that he was in control. He got taken out of control, which is kind of why the reason he's in this deficit once again going into the finale at Vegas. He dominates here. He's fast here. It's a matter of executing, and he can't really do much other than just win and dominate this race. Even then, Joshua Banks, he controls his own destiny. He finishes top 5, really top 6 or top 7. Banks will be the champion no matter what, so Jeff Wright can only hope something happens to the 35. But if something happens to both those top 2, you'd never know. Bailey Turner and Ryan Carwile aren't completely out of it. Carwile is here tonight. As I say that, Bailey Turner is not. So Carwile is not directly out of it yet if those two end up clashing. And, you know, McWhorter's mathematically in it, but not realistically. But either way, those top 2, the 35 and 48, we're going to be watching all night long, as Jeff Wright's going to have to do everything he possibly can to try to catch that 35 in points.
Yeah, a lot of scenarios could happen. Both those drivers could be taken out. We could be crowning a champion from 4th position. And even Joseph McWhorter, not mathematically, technically out. We have 35 cars out on this racetrack here tonight, and we have 150 laps to get it done. So there's your race analysis on the screen. 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. 4 tire sets available. And, of course, 80% fuel on that iRacing Fix setup. So a look at Las Vegas Motor Speedway opened March 30th, 1996. I believe it was Mark Martin that won the inaugural race here at Las Vegas, but it's one of those mile-and-a-half racetracks that kind of breaks the mold when it comes to how these tracks were designed. You had Charlotte, you had Atlanta, you had Texas, but then this track came along and kind of revolutionized how you could have progressive banking, and so Kansas Speedway, Chicagoland kind of modeled after that, and it's just been a phenomenal place, a great location ever since. But with that, let's take you trackside now. Get that grid up on your screen. Well, no surprise here. These two are going to try their best. Somebody put in some practice time here, Connor. I would say these two are going to be duking it out all race long. Jeff Wright, a 30.746. Joshua Banks to his outside with a 30.815 for row number 1. Row number 2 goes to Alex Bell. The baby on board will start from 3rd. Joseph McWhorter will start in the 4th position. Then row number 3 goes to Reggie Ortega. Christopher Hodges will start in 6th. 7th, Philip Brewer. Mark Whitley, last week's winner, in 8th position. And rounding out your top 10 is Chuck Sweeting and Ryan Carwile in the 71.
Carwile comes tonight 17 points back. He needs those two to clash if he wants a shot at the title. Caleb Weekly starts 11th alongside Kyle Peacock in 12th. Pretty similar times with those two. 13th position is going to be Johnny Rapp in the 52, the Mission Barbecue Camaro, alongside Rob Hamp in the number 4. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who's had a decent run in the chase, but not in title contention, starts 15th. Ray Massey, the winner at Bristol, about a month back, starts 16th. Case Lakatos, who's been pretty fast all season long. If I remember correctly, he might be in the bracket challenge finale tonight, going up maybe against Austin Delkey. I might be wrong about that. I actually want to check that just to make sure. But either way, he'll start 17th. Bryce Shoemaker will start in the 18th position. Rounding out the top 20 positions, Jared Bergeron and our man Logan Drumfield starting in the 20th position.
Starting in 21st spot, we're going to have, well, took a little second there to catch up to me. Nick Wood will start in 21st. 22nd, Jonathan Smith, and then Keith Shoemaker 23rd. Brandon Wallace in 24th. 25th goes to Eddie Trejo. Aaron Smith making his 2nd appearance, maybe 3rd appearance here in SNR. He'll start in 26th position. 27th, Max Koss with AJ Stravato in 28th. 29th, Kenny Kibbe and J.R. Shepard in 30th position. 5 more cars to go through this grid. Brian Chambliss and Brian Hennings are out there. You have Matt Shanowski and Benjamin Richards, 33rd and 34th. And rounding out your 35 car field is Austin Belke in the number 89. So Jeff Wright not electing to do the Clark Prince Shop EOL challenge.
I wonder why.
Can't say I blame him here. It's a long field and a long way back to the front. I think a championship kind of outweighs that prize at the end of it.
Yeah, I would think so. There's no doubt that he's going to have to pretty much lead every lap tonight, or at least lead the most laps and then win this race. He needs to maximize bonus points along with the victory and just hope Joshua Banks can't keep up with him and can't keep up with guys like Bell and McWhorter and drops behind those guys. But I think Jeff Wright wins this race, but I just think it's going to be too much to overcome the point deficit. I think Banks is still the title favorite to me, but a lot can happen in 150 laps.
150 laps, as you said, to crown a champion. Race number 20 of Season 3 is live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Saturday Night Racing League, Season 3. From the pole, Jeff Wright is going to put one in the books. So there's a bonus point for that 48 car. The 35 of Joshua Banks, though, he's trying to trail him here. He's sticking right on his line down the backstretch.
If he just keeps Jeff Wright in striking distance all night long, there's nothing the 48 can do to win this title. He's just got to try to stay right on his bumper. How about get him up off the bottom a little bit? He will look for the race lead.
Peeks there to the inside, has Joseph McWhorter to the outside. You know, this racetrack will migrate a little bit higher with each lap. The more they rubber this place down, the more that middle and high line will come into play. But right now, it is a very hot 96 degrees, and that'll only go up from here. Probably will hit triple digits by the time we hit the halfway mark.
It might hit triple digits right now, but this sim time, it is late in the day. It's 6 p.m. in sim, so that sun is going to start going down. We might get the lights on. I think this track will cool down, but I still think that line's going to go up a little bit more. Bottom in 1 and 2, we always talk about it here. The bottom line in turns 1 and 2, way too bumpy to get any momentum through there, although Banks keeps trying it. He's been losing ground. He lost second to McWhorter, just not quite there. 3 and 4, you can move up, but I still think the bottom might be preferred on that end of the track, but you got to at least be in the middle line in turns 1 and 2.
Watching back here for the 12th position, Taylor Butcher Benjamin is on the move up 3 positions. Biggest mover so far in this race, 5 laps in. Just got by Caleb Weekly in the 13, now looking to the outside of Kyle Peacock for 11.
Peacock trying to move through the field just a little bit. Got up to that 11th position. Got on the bottom of Taylor Butcher Benjamin, one of those chase drivers, 2x2 here. And it's Ray Massey trying to win another 1.5 miles, getting past Caleb Weekly as well.
And really close there for Lacatus, all over the back bumper of Kyle Peacock. Almost.
The board's going for the lead at the same time as this is happening.
How many people are going to challenge Jeff Wright? That's another situation. We talked about last season, a 1.5 mile racetrack where Jeff Wright got into a spot, had dominated most of the race, and just got stuck behind everything. In this situation, Jeff's having to defend every single lap, and eventually somebody's going to blink. Now, whether they're using their stuff up to keep pace with Jeff, and he's just calmly letting them get to the inside or the outside, defending that corner, or if they're really going to be able to prevail after this long run. We're yet to see that, but it could spell trouble if these guys, especially in this top 5, start racing each other too hard.
I think he's trying to save his stuff, but McWhorter is a very aggressive driver short run, so he's trying to get the lead early. But Jeff Wright knows clean air is important. We all know how important it is at 1.5 miles, so he's going to race himself. He's going to push a little harder than he wants to, trying to keep this lead. McWhorter going through the grass, trying to get any sort of run on the 48. But I think once they stop challenging, this 48 will probably pull away. But these two, McWhorter and Banks, definitely trying to at least get the clean air away. They almost hit the wall. All of them almost hit the wall. I think the 48 jumped out of the gas pretty hard there, but McWhorter could not take advantage and actually hurt the center speeds. Now, second place is up for grabs.
Second place going back. Joshua Banks to the inside of Joseph McWhorter as they come out of turns 3 and 4. Has the nose advantage into 1 and will dive down. Probably going to clear McWhorter here, although that middle line is more powerful on the exit.
Gets that much of a run through the center of the corner to get that position back. Saw a car in the wall in 1. I think it was Bryce Shoemaker, but he kept it straight, so everyone keeps it clean. But yeah, the middle line, especially through the center of the corner, that's where it's at its best in 1 and 2.
On board with Chris Hodges in the number 51 VRX machine. He's to the outside. That's Alex Bell to the bottom there in the 15 car. A brief moment through this field and quite a lot of racing going on. Still some side-by-side. Here's Kenny Kibbe and Bryce Shoemaker. Shoemaker did clip the wall there. He's fallen back a little ways. 9 positions lost here for the 43 car.
He's one of the few drivers actually trying the high line in 3 and 4 right now. He's got his right sides right on that top seam as we run. And he's trying to make it work as they're side-by-side for the lead again. Banks and Jeff Wright, they almost made contact into turn number 1 that time. Banks is still pushing the leader hard. That's why we can't look at the other battles, because they're still, these 3 are under a blanket right now, but they just can't get by the 48.
And coming into this race, you know, Jeffrey, he rehearses this. This is where he knows he can prevail. If he can run a line where he can defend but not use his stuff up, make these guys drive harder on the inside or outside of him just to get, you know, maybe a lap led. I know Banks wants it bad enough here. He will get to the bottom, but I don't think he's going to clear. Jeff Wright's going to stay to the outside. This is really the recipe you want. Even though this means nothing, Banks still has about 5 positions he could lose here. You would like to see the 2 possible champions duke it out all race long.
But I think it is pretty important for Jeff Wright to not let him lead a lap here. He cannot give the 35 a bonus point. Now, if the 35 stays out long to get that bonus point, there's not much you can do to defend that, but at least straight up on the racetrack, he should do everything in his power here to make sure he gives that 35 0 bonus points. And right now he's doing that, running that higher line. Banks can get into the corner better, and even his center speed's not bad, but he cannot carry the momentum on exit. 48's pinching him down just enough.
See the focus into the entry at 3 and 4. Stay toward the door this time by. It's going to be Jeff Wright again, just by a little bit.
I think McWhorter finally saw what was going on. He's like, okay, I don't need to be pushing my stuff this hard. You guys can battle. And he's dropped off maybe 0.4 of a second back to Reggie Ortega for that position. As once again, Banks can get to the center of the corner with the nose ahead of Jeff Wright, but you get that run off the corner on that high side. 48's able to pull back ahead.
McWhorter has fallen back about half a second from these front 2 as they'll continue side by side for an entire lap this time. This time across the line, 0.02 of a second. Wright gets another one.
You know who likes this is probably Ryan Carwile. He needs them to come together to be in the title fight. He's like, yeah, start hitting each other, do something. He's back in 9th, probably, or he's back in 10th, battling with Chuck Sweeting, just hoping for something to happen. These 2 are professionals in what they do, and they're still side by side. But Banks is starting to lose some ground, but that car is strong in the center 3 and 4 especially. He's got the nose ahead for the first time at 3 and 4. He is really sliding up the track.
Really wheeling it there out of 4, and I think this time, nope, another 0.02 of a second roughly. Banks just can't catch a break.
He just can't get that lap led. He drove it in hard into turn 1 that time as well. You can see those bumps just bumping the splitter up and down out of the corner. It is incredible the speed they're putting, the gap they're putting on McWhorter while being side by side.
You know that's got to give eventually, though.
It might, if he's going to lead a lap, it would be right here. 48 can't let it happen. He's trying to side draft him, but I think
1,000th of a second. 1,000th of a second to Joshua Banks there.
That's a huge 1,000th of a second. It could be huge. We'll have to wait and see. But I wonder if Banks will tone it down. I highly doubt it. He wants to lead away from the 48, and he does not want to leave it up to chance by any means. So he's going to still try to push with his lead. He's going to start losing steam, I would think, at some point. By the way, Mark Whitley, he just found his way to 4th. He just passed Reggie Ortega.
Yeah, we were trying to look at some other battles here as these guys continue to make do. I think that eventually one of these two drivers is going to have to compensate for the fact that they've burned up their stuff. They pulled away almost a full second now from Joseph McWhorter, and they've been side by side while doing it. So both these drivers have to be pushing the tires. There's no doubt about it. McWhorter gets his lap led, or actually Banks gets his lap led, and you would think at this point for the 35 he would concede here and just follow in the tire tracks. That's enough here for the championship.
No, he's not going to give up. That's just not what Joshua Banks does. He is going to drive the wheels off it. It might end in disaster, but he's going to go for it. No doubt about it. Whitley just got the third over McWhorter. They're actually going to cross over, but this battle is still hot. But Banks lost some ground out of 1 and 2 there. They almost made contact there, but Banks, I think, finally kind of backed off a little bit, but he's still looking to be inside through 3 and 4.
Seems like the drive off in the middle is just a little bit better. Jeff can pinch him down on the exit of the corner just enough to hold him off, but not enough that when he goes into 1, he won't have an advantage.
Oh, we don't have him here. 48 had a big slide, and Banks is going to get the lead away.
Now at what cost here, Connor? They've burned up their stuff. They are single file again, but Mark Whitley is on a tear. The last time by, he was even on the lap times. He's probably going to start reeling these guys in.
We'll just have to wait and see. He hasn't started reeling them in quite yet. Look at the times this time by, and he was really not much faster than, he was not faster than a 35. He was faster than Jeff Wright, but this might start, the 48 might start to pay the biggest price. He spent all those laps on the higher line, while Banks kind of grinded on the bottom line, chipping away at it, finally got the lead. We'll see if this hurts the 48 more than the 35. But finally, these two are single file. We can look at some other battles. Alex Bell's up to 4th. McWhorter is actually starting to fade. He's back to 5th. Ortega's going back there with him.
It's a battle just inside the top 10. It's Chuck Sweeting trying to get by Ryan Carwile for 8th. Almost some contact there in the entry of 1. And you see back here, deeper in this field, it's a lot of multi-groove racing, and the 44 of Philip Brewer just got a little bit loose there in front of this battle. Reggie Ortega was to the inside of that.
Easy to get sideways up on the higher side. Not much grip up there quite yet. You can see so much of the rubber on the bottom 2 lanes already forming, while it's still pretty clean on the higher line. But we'll wait for that to kind of form up the longer this race goes. Someone had a big slide out of 4 back there. Actually, someone's in the grass. That is Nick Wood, but he kept it straight. I was looking at that battle from 22nd on back as much as I could while the leaders were battling. They were 3x3. It's still pretty testy with Shoemaker trying to get back through the field, and Threlkeld also trying to get back to where, at least where he started. He's back 3 positions.
So I saw a car diving down to the bottom. It might be the 98. Yes, it is. J.R. Shepard. Got a little loose coming out of 2, and it looks like somebody else went for a little ride. Maybe got a piece of the grass. We're seeing a new configuration here with the graphics model in iRacing. So, 4-car in the wall. It was Rob Ham.
Oh boy,
very loose.
That was slide. Got away with it for now. There is battling all around this racetrack for every position. Here goes the battle. This is really for 5th because he got 5 cars trying to go for him. McWhorter is going to hold on to 5th. Philip Brewer is looking for 6th from Reggie Ortega. Oh, we got a caution. Caution is out.
Yellow flag is out. Looks like Brandon Wallace. Big trouble back here with the 1 of Bergeron. Keith Shoemaker.
And Brandon Wallace got a huge hit on that one. And Austin Belke got damaged too. Oh, that 99 is totaled. That one's not, that's not getting back out there competitive.
That was a hard hit to the outside wall. That does not do it justice on this replay. We're going to back this up further. We'll see right here. Wow, there was a lot of contact there.
There's like a stack up behind. Oh man, that was a violent hit. It looked like a stack up behind the 72 for whatever reason. Like it started with Jonathan Smith slow for whatever reason. And it got all the way back to Belke. Then Belke hit the 99 to the 1, and then bam, nowhere for the 89 to go after that. But Benjamin Richards did a good job getting through that, but I don't know why that happened down the back. It just looked like, I don't know if Jonathan Smith hit the wall or he just checked up, as everyone comes to pit lane. No surprise, but that was really weird.
I don't know if it was the 72 or if Jerry Bergeron hit the wall. Let's back this up one more time. I know we got pit stops here, but
everyone will take 4. There's no strategy here. Oh, yeah, he hits the wall, and it causes a stack up where Belke actually didn't really check up. Everyone else did. Belke hit Brendan Wallace. That put him into Jerry Bergeron, and it was on from there. Oh, Keith Shoemaker, pretty innocent in that, too.
Aaron Smith, looks like no tires here on this stop.
Yeah, just fuel only. So trying to save a tire set, kind of interesting if that's what they're going to go with. Banks got out of 4 tires first. Alex Bell took second away from Jeff Wright. And he did take 2 tires, so just not the best of stops for the 48. So Jeff Wright will start probably right behind the 35. He's already kind of relinquished track position to his title competitor, let alone the bonus point that he gave him to the 35, and now he needs to get the lead back, at least get the most laps led bonus. He needs to do the best he can to get max points.
Well, in the scenario here, I think Aaron Smith is trying to lead a lap, or maybe thought he could take over the lead when that wasn't the case. J.R. Shepard stayed out to lead that lap, and the 70 will come back down pit road, I believe, for 4 fresh tires.
Could have been a mistake, possibly. I don't.
Tops off again.
No, he took fuel again. So yeah, I don't know the strategy, but we'll see how it works out. We're 1 to green. He'll be the only driver on no tires, and he'll be at the back. Belke looks like he's going to be out. Brennan Wallace is going to be out. Bergeron's still on pit road. Huge hits for all those guys. Keith Shoemaker's out of the race for sure. So that was a big crash. It took out at least 4 drivers. As this title chase looks pretty good for Banks right now. Now he's got a teammate who was outside.
35 will be the command car here for this second start of the day. Of course, championship finale, season 3. Coming down to mathematically 4 cars, I would say. But the 2 that we're focused on are running first and third. They'll be on the inside here with the 35 of Banks and the 48 of Jeff Wright. A lot of racing left to be done. Not quite a fifth of the way through this race. So we get to see green flag pit stops. Of course, 80% fuel. We saw some top-offs with some drivers as we get set to go back green on lap 28. Green flag is out. Here we go. Joshua Banks. Can he lead more?
Well, I thought him to 15 to kind of time it. Not really the case. 48 got a better jump than the 15 did, for sure. Yeah, so Jeff Wright's back to second. Now he's going to fight hard to try to get that lead back.
So Banks and Wright go side by side, pull away from this field. And that shows you how confident they are in their abilities. No one really reeled them back in. During the entirety of that run of 23, 24 laps, they pulled out over a second. I believe it was Mark Whitley that got up to the 3rd spot. But now here on 4 fresh tires, what can Banks do with the clean air? Looks like right now, uncontested. Jeff Wright just holding right there around that 0.2 of a second mark.
They're both kind of planted to the bottom line. If you're not battling someone, you're going to be on that white line as much as you can be. Johnny Rapp got in the wall in the back, but he keeps it straight. But you don't want to go that middle line for the tires. That's why I think we saw the 48 get worn down as that long run went on, and with him kind of having to run a higher line at both ends of the track. I think in clean air, you want to be running the bottom line.
I mean, based off of what I saw these last 20 laps or so, I think the high line has its merit. You can defend, you can be fast throughout the exits, but it seems to burn those tires up. So right now you're seeing Jeff Wright maybe in conservation mode, going to run in the tire tracks of the 35 and just run that bottom line longer, because he wasn't able to do that the last time. He got challenged by Banks, he got challenged by McWhorter. He never really was able to run his own race.
No, I think he got caught defending partially because of that, because of a 35 at 73 being so aggressive on the short run. It ended up kind of messing with his pace on the long run that we know he has. So he's going to try a different sort of strategy this time. try to stay with the 35 and maybe be a nuisance to him, just like he was a nuisance to himself. We'll just have to see how it works out, but he's not alone either. It almost looks like a super speedway race. Pretty single file right now, pretty evenly spread out. Ray Massey's back here in 13th, trying to get by Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Not much line variation right now. Everyone's kind of on the bottom or maybe a groove up, but it's a 48. Got to run to the inside of the 35.
We go side by side into 3 and 4. Back at it again. Jeff Wright to the bottom. Holds it down, and this is kind of the Uno reverse card of what we saw earlier.
He did not move up the track to get that run. He was just better through 1 and 2 than the 35 of Banks. So we'll see how much better he can be in 1 and 2 on the bottom. This time he fired it into the corner, and they almost made contact again, but he pretty much cleared the 35 of Banks. Probably took the 35 by surprise a little bit.
So Banks will fall back to second. You see the high line back there with Alex Bell. Bell is working his way back into this picture. It was almost a three-way battle. It will become a three-way battle for the lead. As Bell looks to the outside, Jeff Wright closes that door, but opens up another one into 1.
I think Bell wanted to try to get aggressive there, but he just couldn't find the room to do it, and Wright got a good run off the middle of 1 and 2. So I think before he starts to get back up to pace, and if he can pull away enough to where Banks can't challenge him, we might start to see that long run pace shine like we thought it would, as Banks kind of backing off the 48 a little bit here.
34 laps completed. Jeff Wright's going to lead another one. These two drivers have went back and forth with 19 laps led and 15 laps led, trying to compete for the most laps led. Jeff Wright lets Joshua Banks get that bonus point. It goes back even further, probably to around the 10th position, that Banks could survive this championship.
Camp got in the wall, but he kept it straight. He's hit it a few times tonight, but yeah, this is all Jeff Wright can do. Lead laps, win the race, and he's in position to do that once again. And Banks doesn't seem to be wanting to challenge it right now like he was on the first run of the race, so we can kind of look a little further back. Rob Hamp's kind of gotten his car back under control. He's looking at the 72 of Jonathan Smith, trying to get that 24th position back away. But there's not much side-by-side battling. First battle I see is Philip Brewer and I believe Chuck Sweeting. Actually, no, it's ahead of that. Whitley and Carlisle for about 7th.
So 7th on back to the 10 of Taylor Butcher Benjamin in 12th. All right on top, throw a blanket over it. 2 by 2, side by side into the entry of 1 and 2. And we have a driver we haven't talked about here for a few weeks, and SNR winner. What a limited list. We were talking about that in the pre-race. 19 drivers can say they won here in the Saturday Night Racing League. That's just such a mixed variety when you think about how many races per season. We've done 20 in every single one of them. But only 3 drivers this season have more than 1 win.
We've had 13 races coming in tonight, or 14 races coming in tonight. We've had 11 different winners. With only 3 drivers with 2 wins, which are, I believe, Jeff Wright, Bailey Turner, who's not here tonight, and Aaron Smith, who is only making his 5th start of the season tonight, so imagine if he could run the full season. But yeah, it just shows how competitive a season it's been. Mark Whitley got his first win last week in this series. Jeremy Miller at Kansas. Alex Bell earlier in the season got a victory. And the points leader, Joshua Banks, only has that 1 victory. He's been consistent enough to be the points leader to this point.
Joshua Banks is now falling out about 2/10, a little over that in 2nd position. Just going to stay on the tire tracks as Reggie Ortega has worked his way into the top 3.
Saw him be pretty fast short run last run, then he kind of faded outside the top 5, so we'll see how his car starts to handle later in this run. Seen Alex Bell, he's already fallen back to 5th when he was battling for the lead. McWhorter started falling off at the end of the last run. He's up to 4th again, as we'll see if Mark Whitley's long run speed shines again. He got all the way back, got all the way up to 3rd before the yellow fell. He's now back to 7th in that 77 car. He's got a lot of cars behind him as well. Butcher Benjamin looking to be inside of Brewer, who's starting to fade, and Carwell has fallen back a little bit as well. We've seen Stravato get to the front, one of those limited winners that we were talking about. He started back at 28th. He's found his way into the top 10 already.
And driver really has his hands full right now. Caleb Weekly in the 15th position as Kyle Peacock, Kenny Kibbe. It's like a variety of different cars have been on the back bumper of this 13, but holding strong in the 15th position, trying to work his way back to where he started in 11th.
And Weekly kind of not done much so far tonight, at least. Has got 2 top 10s this season with a top 5, one top 5 on the season. That was at Talladega, actually their most recent start at that top 5 at Talladega, and the other top 10 was back at Richmond in October. So it's kind of been an up and down season for Weekly, but still running the races out. Has only missed, I believe, 1 or 2 races. It's been pretty consistently top 10, top 15 all season long, trying to fend off the 83 and 84 with Kibbe in the 84. He's been very solid since he started running the series late in the season. No wins to show for it yet, but you think if he starts to run more, that win could come.
21 of Andy Trejo in the 18th position. Looks to the bottom of the 83 car. This is the line you want to run with the 83. Shuts the door a little sideways there for Kyle Peacock.
Well, I didn't know we were drifting today, but you could see smoke coming out of the right rear tire. He was drifting that thing at it too. And we've seen that from some drivers already. We saw that with the 4 of Hamp. We're seeing it with a Weekly out of turn 4. That's more than a drift, but Peacock handled it well. Oh, maybe not. He hit the wall a little bit, but still got a run on Caleb Weekly. These drivers are on edge a little bit, and it's not even that hot of a track temp. It's pretty much where it started. We're almost to triple digits as Banks and Jeff Wright almost made contact for the lead, but the track temp's kind of staying where it is right now, and it is pretty hot. That's because the ambient temp's so hot. Oh, Weekly almost put someone in the wall there. That was the 43 of Shoemaker. He almost squeezed, but you can see his driver struggling with grip on exit.
So back up front here, there was only some contact that we missed there briefly. We'll take it back on the replay and see if we can take a look at that.
These two guys side by side. Jeff Wright Joshua Banks started to chase him back down. You see Jeff Wright's doing this later arc into a corner, but he's giving Banks too much air to the front of the nose on the entry to the corner. It's letting him get a good entry, and he's able to carry down an exit. It lets Joshua Banks get this run off the corner to where he can look back to be inside once again. But this is where Joshua Banks kind of forgot the track here. He gets these bumps hard, bam, 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 right there, and it shoots him up the track. He has to lift before wrecking his title competitor. Not what you want to do, because you can come back and then get you back since it's the end of a season, but that shows how tough it is to make that pass. That's why I was impressed that he even made the pass on the 48 to begin with. It's so hard to get it done down there, but you can see Wright just a later arc while Banks kind of straight lines the corner.
So will he get the run again out of turn 4? He does not. He's hanging right there with Jeff Wright.
No pun intended.
We were kind of questioning, does Jeff Wright dominate this race? I talked to Banks in the pre-race there. He said, I don't know. I think you're going to see us battle it out a little bit here. And we watched in practice the 15 and the 35 kind of get physical and go back and forth, see what these cars are capable of. Driving them pretty hard. For 9 laps, these guys touched doors, went back and forth, and I told Josh, I said, we got to see that for the season finale. We have to see it, but it has to be the 48 car. I want to see you two, and here we are. He's delivering on that promise.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We are used to seeing Jeff Wright kind of dominate these 1.5 miles. As a big slide from Banks that time will drop him off the bumper of Jeff Wright, but we've seen his 48 pull out to huge leads in past, especially at this track. The most recent race at this track, he was on track to win that race before late yellows. I mean, he was dominating. That's kind of what I expected to see once again, but not the case. Banks brought his A game when he needed it the most.
Back deeper in the field here, it's Logan Threlkeld, VSPEED's very own, and the number 12 car, and well, never fails. I guess I'll go ahead and do this.
Oh, we're gonna do. Oh no.
There it is. It's pretty mild.
I was expecting something else.
Well,
it's very mild. 23rd position right now. Pretty much where he started.
Go back
around
to the
there.
socks.
Oh, that's what I was expecting.
There's the socks, yeah. And we got a car sideways. We got some smoke up here.
It's a crash. That was last lap, maybe. What in the world? That was someone well off the pace. It was Rob Hamp. The 4 had a spin out of 4, no pun intended, and It was a lonely spin because it brought out no yellow and no one else was involved. That's where all the smoke came from. Oh man, he actually did a good job keeping it off the wall. I'm shocked that wasn't a yellow.
Rolled it off the track surface just enough here.
Oh,
Well
we got a slide live. Kyle Peacock's now going through the grass live. He's going to keep it straight as well. No spin yet. Saw a number of drivers sideways off the corner that time. I think that was a product of it. There is something in the air off the corners. Maybe it's just wind, but these drivers are on edge.
We saw it a lot in practice too as this track heated up, and it's somewhere around that 100-degree mark here. We'll check the weather again, 99 degrees. Yes, that sun is setting, but especially in 3 and 4, that's where that sun's beaming down directly on that banking. So even though the rest of this track might be cooling off, 3 and 4 is notoriously hot throughout the entirety of the race. You've got the nice shade from the billboards here in 1 and 2. It's that backstretch into 3 that's just scalding hot right now, and that Nevada heat in the Mojave Desert, it chews up this asphalt.
It's aged pretty well. This will be one of the other tracks that gets that art refresh soon because it's actually, it is a little bit overdue. It's not as overdue as New Hampshire, which looks great, by the way. After Saturday Night Racing League, we ran probably one of the final league races on the original scan of New Hampshire. It looks great now, but this is another track that's going to get an update soon. It's aged very well, races very well, always some good finishes, especially in the Cup Series as well. And we should see another one here tonight at this rate with those top 2 under a blanket all night long. As Kibby's looking at another position from the 44 Philip Brewer. But this is a track, one of those mile-and-a-halfs that has been really, really good for a long time.
Watching Kibby got a little bit loose there the last time by out of 4, but still carried the momentum. Even if that wheel snapped out of his hands, he just carried that. He rode the bull to the bottom of the racetrack, got to the inside of Brewer. Sometimes you can get away with that, where the car just, it's hanging free, and when it snaps back, it's almost like you get a little power boost into the entry.
I know what it looks like right now. I'm also pretty interested in how a lot of these drivers back here are moving up the racetrack. You're not really seeing most of the leaders do that yet, but the other drivers who are kind of searching for grip and searching for speed, you are seeing them search around. Really third on back, people are searching around. Reggie Ortega's up maybe groove, half a groove off the wall, trying to battle Alex Bell. Didn't really work that time. Bell got a better run, but you're seeing those drivers who think, okay, I don't have what it takes to run the bottom line effectively. I need to search somewhere else. That's what pretty much everyone third on back is trying to do right now. No one's really running the white line besides the top 2. Everyone's kind of maybe half a groove or more off it, excuse me.
We continue to see side by side through this tri-oval. Reggie Ortega had worked his way up. Alex Bell was one of those cars that kind of faded quickly. Looks like he's nursed it back to health. And here comes Whitley. Remember that driver in the first stint of about 23, 24 laps. This is a little bit past due. But the 77 is now back into the picture for the top 3.
And he ran pretty much around what the top 2 were running. So that.
Whoa, Bell really loose.
Man, that was a big wiggle. That's going to let Whitley probably get by here, but had to walk it up the racetrack there to not crash the 2 in the 77. But Whitley's times are pretty much on par with what the leaders are running right now. Half a tenth faster than the 48, but half a tenth off of Joshua Banks, who's starting to get back up there. But Whitley knows how to save the tires. It's just about executing. Finally executed a race last week. He's going to try to go back-to-back then this season, but Ortega's not going to make this an easy pass. Probably going to make him go to the inside and force his hand, but he's actually going to sweep back to high. Nope, now he's going to go low. I don't think this pass will take very long. I think the 77 has the advantage.
Ortega did defend against the 15 there, and Alex Bell got really loose out of turns 3 and 4. Whitley, the power up, almost gets to the door. Ortega's got the power out of the corner. Interested to see how this racetrack's going to evolve. We're not quite at the halfway mark, and already you're seeing it migrate towards the top. Really loose for the 77.
He tried to force Ortega out of room. He almost forced himself out of room. He's still sideways. The curve, they're 3 wide. They don't
Contact.
know.
Whitley, hold on to it.
He's going to spin. Look out, McWhorter. They're all going to get through it, but there goes the tire saving that he went through. He's going to lose all these positions back.
What a save, though. That is a race edit save right there.
Yeah, he could still recover from that, but it's not over yet. He's kind of back in the Hornets' nest with the 50 to 75, but I don't think he knew it was 3 wide after this slide right here. Ortega had to give room to Alex Bell. Yeah, I don't think Whitley knew, kind of crowded him accidentally, but made a great save. McWhorter did a great job checking up for it as well. There's a lot of action there. That just lets the top 2 get away even more.
And AJ Stravato now gonna punch his ticket into the top 5. Now looks to the inside of Alex Bell for 4th. Maybe goes to the inside of Reggie Ortega in the very next corner. Bell with the crossover out of 4. Stravato has the preferred line into 1 and 2 here on the entry. And Bell will concede that spot.
Probably had to work his tires up a little bit on that higher side. Probably doesn't have too much grip at this point. And he's gonna have to kind of regroup a little bit. Jonathan Smith is retired from this race. Kind of just parked it. Yeah, that 15, I still think his tires are in bad shape. He went for a gap that was there, but the tires, I just don't think he has what it takes to fight right now. So he's gonna start slipping back to Brian Carwile and a few others here.
You're hearing these guys lift tremendously just to keep it down there on the bottom of the racetrack, and these bumps sending it back up. It's almost like 1 and 2 fight you all the way through. Yeah, it's grippy. It allows you an entry because of that shade that we were talking about earlier. But at what cost? You get down there at the bottom of the racetrack, it wants to turn down there, and it's really, really fast, and then you hit those bumps, and it kind of just scrubs it all away.
It's pretty much what you always have to deal with at this type of track. It's so hard not to scrub speed off the corner, especially because you're getting sideways off the corner, so the car's going to generally go down to the bottom out of the corner because you're sliding so much, but you need to chase it up the track to keep that momentum up off the corner. But it's almost impossible to do that when you're sliding, because if you try to correct it, you might put yourself in the outside wall. It's very hard to balance, and we've already seen so many drivers caught out by that.
Well, lo and behold, Reggie Ortega is still in the 3rd position. He has defended off several cars now. 77 of Mark Whitley. They went 3 wide there, with Whitley getting really loose across that tri-oval. Reggie Ortega continues to hold on, but it's 3.5 seconds. 3.1 now as they go into 3 and 4.
Yeah, you call them the best in class right now because there's 2 drivers in their own class, and then Ortega's kind of leading the rest of them. But saying that, we are starting to see that 48 open up a little bit of a gap. It's about 8/9 of a second now.
Lead battle on the right-hand side of your screen. Just shy of a full second. Another 10th, and he'll have it. I think for Joshua Banks right now, he is perfectly content to run on this island all the way to the end of this race. He did what he needed to do with leading a lap. He gave himself a little bit of breathing room. And not only that, with that deficit back to Ortega, if this race stays green, he can hit pit road whenever he wants. He doesn't have to dictate his in and out based off of what Jeff Wright does. He can kind of just go with the flow. What's the car feel like? Do I want to come in now? It's kind of his race to, or his championship rather, to lose if he can stay in this position.
We might not be too far away from pit stops. I don't think we can make it on 1 more stop. I think you're going to see drivers have 2 more stops, so we might be entering the land of green flag pit stops soon enough. But there is one thing Banks needs to focus on if we go green. Do not speed. Do not get any sort of pit road penalty. Stay on the apron exiting the pits. You make a mistake like that, you deserve to lose a championship. He has to be aware of that. He does not need to take any risk. He doesn't need to beat anyone on the pit lane. He doesn't need to race on the pit lane, anything like that. He needs to be the most conservative he's ever been. And I don't think conservative is part of Joshua Banks' repertoire. I don't think it's in his biography on any app possible, but he's going to have to do it. He can't afford any mistake like that, because that'll put him back in the 20s, and he'll pretty much ensure a Jeff Wright title without any yellows. So that's what he needs to focus on right now.
I think the day that Joshua Banks starts wearing his hat forward, that'll be the day that he slows down. Until then, I don't think it's going to happen.
That's a good one. Write that one down. Put that in a notebook for season 4. we'll bring that one up at another date, a later date. Battle for fourth is getting tight, though. Ortega's still third, but actually,
wow.
Stravato's lost fourth, which I kind of am surprised by. The 15 kind of eat my own words because he's actually starting to show some more pace here. 33 starting to fade.
I think it was a brush with the wall. It could have been loose there for Stravato briefly out of 4. Lost another position there to the 15, but he was struggling just to maintain, and so there goes Alex Bell. He'll challenge back. I think we're shaping back up, though, with Whitley back into the picture of what we saw earlier.
Oh, by the way, Aaron Smith just came to pit lane. I believe he blew a right front tire from the way it sounded. Remember, he did not take tires under the yellow. I think it's bit him. So, I mean, if that extra set comes in play later, great, but that did not work. Not right now, at least. This is pretty much when we're seeing everyone pit. Everyone pit around lap 20 when that yellow came out, lap 25, so it's 2 stops from here. You'll see people pit now and then maybe pit at lap 110. Here comes a lot of drivers.
Alex Bell, AJ Stravato locks it down. Getting Kibbe, Shepard.
No penalty. They're all good.
It's like the 9 of Chambliss. And the 73 of McWhorter, the 21 of Trejo. '83 of Kyle Peacock, I believe.
Here comes Joshua Banks now. I think AJ Stravato just got a penalty for driving through too many stalls, and he just quit. 33 is out of this one. That's another thing Joshua Banks has to focus on. Don't drive through more than 4 pit stalls. That would be a penalty. Comes Jeff Wright. He's going to respond. Looks like Chuck Sweeting's going to pit.
It'll be an interesting strategy here, Connor, because they're definitely not going to make it to the end of this race. We have about 76, 77 laps to go. It's just not going to be mathematically possible. If they're pitting now and they can't make it much further than this, it's 47 laps on this stint, and I don't foresee them going much more than 50.
Yeah, I think they'll pit around lap 110 to 120. Somewhere in that window would be their final pit stop, as Mark Whitley will pit now. Ryan Carwell's pitting now as the 48's coming off the pit lane. I saw Carwell try to enter the pits. I think he missed it the first time, so he's going to lose some ground out of that. But as far as Jeff Wright goes, he's doing anything. He's doing everything he can once again. We'll see how it ends up working out. I don't see any other pit road penalties besides the one that 33 got, and he quit because of it. But there's the gap. The 48 off of pit lane now, a lap later than the 35, and he keeps the lead anyways. But cold tires, we'll see if Jeff Wright can fend off the 35 for this lap. We'll see if Banks wants to push him hard again.
Jeff Wright on a little bit colder tires, and it's going to be the warm-up lap for those tires. Jeff Wright very loose on the entry of 1 and 2. Here comes Banks to the inside. Holds it down, does get the nose down the backstretch. This is for the race lead. Philip Brewer will be the next car onto pit road. Actually, Philip Brewer really short pitted here. Banks not quite clear. Using all of the racetrack out of 4. We're going to stay side by side. Philip Brewer being chased down. He has about 10 lap difference on tires here.
Yeah, they'll pass him, no doubt. It's really just a race to see who can get there first and use the 44 as a pick, or even maybe use the 70 as a pick as well, because he also has a little bit older tires. Banks almost got him out of 4 that time, but Jeff Wright had enough of a run to fight that off. But he's pushing him hard still.
Looking on the back of Philip Brewer, he maintains the lead here for a few more laps. We're picking up right where we left off. Now Banks is the bottom car. Big run for both of them. And Jeff Wright uses the 44 as a pick. Kind of screens his way to get clear of the 35.
Exactly what I thought would happen. Brewer got his lap led, so it works out in that sense. But it's exactly what I thought would happen, where if they got side by side, the 48 would just try to pick the lane that the 44 is not in and use it as a pick. Exactly what he did. Got him a little bit of breathing room at least, because now pretty much everything cycled out. 4 seconds back to Alex Bell.
So we will have some announcements here in post-race about season number 4. Stick around after the show, after our final results and our post-race interviews, to get those details. Anybody that's tuned in right now that's been a part of this season number 3, we thank you for watching Saturday Night Racing, and I'd like to thank M&J Distributors, Walking and Rolling Costumes, 29 Graphics, just everybody that's been a part of this. I think I forgot one there. Help me out here. I'm drawing a blank.
Sorry, I was looking at the racing for 4th. Which one did we forget?
I've got Walking and Rolling. I've got 29 Graphics.
Distributors.
I believe it's Clark Prinshaw.
Your print shop. Goodness. We forgot him because no one took the Pota EOL challenge. That's why.
Yep.
That's the only reason. You know what else we can't forget to do? You know, as we got our last race, we're past halfway. It's pretty noisy, but we need to bring even more. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we need to turn it up. Find that remote control, the volume knob, wherever it may be. And let's get loud. Here at Las Vegas, presented by 29 Graphics. Get Loud, presented by 29 Graphics. Jeff Wright, still your leader as we approach lap 84. We actually are on lap 84 now, and pulls the lead to a half a second over Joshua Banks. Right now, as the points stand, Joshua Banks, if it finishes this way, will be your champion and the 3rd champion overall in the 3 seasons that we've had here at SNR. Jeff Wright trying to capitalize and dominate this race. Sometimes you can lead every single lap, but it's still not good enough to win that cup.
Yeah, my math might be wrong, but I think right now Banks would win the title by about 6 points. So, I mean, this is just, there's nothing you can do when the guy you need to fail is your closest competition for the win. So unless something happens on the next round of pit stops, not much the 48 can do. This is pretty much what I expected from Jeff Wright. I expected him to dominate, so he's not quite doing that because Banks has been really solid, but he's just done everything he's been asked to do. He needs to lead the most laps. He's about 10 laps away from wrapping that up, actually. Got the lead back from the 35. If he can hold on in his last 60-plus laps, win this race, he's done all he's asked for. He needed some breaks tonight. We knew that coming in tonight. And so far, it just has not gone that way.
Well, a perfect opportunity here on VSPEED to take a quick commercial break. Again, you are watching the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. More coverage here on VSPEED will continue right after this.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive of water. Might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back here live at Las Vegas, we kind of looking at this battle while we were at break. The 3rd through 14th, I think we were talking about, or 13th position, right on top of each other. It was pure chaos there. It's since settled down quite a bit, but go back on the instant replay here for just a moment and look at how chaotic it was. Here is Mark Whitley working his way methodically through this, and we thought, well, he's getting closer to Reggie Ortega. I remember a 3 wide there earlier in this race in the first half. I wonder if Whitley remembered it as well. But yeah, we watched these guys pick each other apart for about 10 laps.
And they're still all battling. I mean, 3rd through 12th, they're all under a blanket, all battling each other. And it's been pretty impressive to watch. Interesting to watch, I should say. Whitley's once again been kind of carving his way through this field. Better saving of the tires on the long run. The last time he got slid out of line by the 2 and the 15, thought he might give him a tap there. Didn't really do so. Just ended up passing him straight up. And now we're back live. Wondering if he would want to do anything to the 15 of Alex Bell. I don't think he would, personally. That was just a racing deal, but you can see he's just faster than these 2 ahead of him right now, looking to become the best of the rest in P3, and it really is the best of the rest at this point. It's now about 7 seconds from Jeff Wright to this battle for 3rd. Even Joshua Banks is starting to fall off. It's about a 2-second gap from Wright to Banks.
And a moment before that, while we were on break, problems here between the 51 of Hodges and the 32 of Wood. Right here, heavy contact. Hodges into the outside wall. That did not trigger a caution, but heavy damage. Believe pops the right front on Chris Hodges' day, and so he'll probably be done as you see him sitting here on pit road.
Yeah, really weird. They kind of came into each other, but Hodges with the wall right to the outside got the worst of it for sure. Tough way for a season to end. He's had some solid runs. He was actually running pretty well tonight even, but not going to get the deserving finish he probably was going to get. So it's a shame for him. Back up to the battle for third. Whitley's charging. Probably too little too late to get to the top two, but much faster than Joseph McWhorter at this point. He's going to dive to the inside and maybe get this spot. Not quite. McWhorter was going to fight it.
That's a teammate there on the outside of Whitley. Joseph McWhorter still has a mathematical chance, although that is dwindling away as we approach lap 100.
He's going to get the spot here. I just think when I hear that's a teammate, I think of that Darrell Waldron quote from that Edwards and Busch, that one finish at Richmond. That's all he could yell. That's a teammate! All he could get out.
Sometimes family's the one that portrays you the worst, so you never know.
Yeah, those two have been working together really well all season, though, and I think he knew Whitley was faster, but wanted to fight it anyways. So, yeah, this is pretty much the top three that these have been the three fastest. Obviously, Wright Banks, no introduction, but Whitley long run has been the better long run car. Bell had a big slide out of 2 there, but he has been the better long run car. He just finally didn't get beat around looking for that third position. We'll see if he can pull a gap on the 73 before we get the pit stops in maybe 10 or more laps, I should think.
Caleb Weekly into the outside wall there coming out of turn 2, and Logan Threlkel got by the 13. Now going to go by the 83 of Kyle Peacock. This is for 18th spot. About 4 seconds back from Eddie Trejo in 17th. Still side by side across the tri-oval. Lap 98.
Threlkel, he's pretty much hung around this point. We saw him in 23rd. Now he's almost up to that 18th position, trying to get that 18th position, but he's gotten a few spots here and there as both these drivers sideways. He went to the apron. Peacock almost hit the wall, but it worked for the 83 as that battle will kind of fade out a little bit again. Battle for 6th is still side by side. Ortega, Kibbe, Chuck Sweeting's in that battle as well. Threlkel's still looking to get to the 83s. Both of these drivers are on edge for 18.
It's a handful back here in the 19th, 18th position. Threlkel had the spot coming out of 2. Got loose, went down to the bottom of the racetrack, and had to chase it, lost a lot of speed.
Yeah, both these drivers are just chasing it all around the racetrack, trying to find any sort of grip possible, and they just can't find it. They've been sliding out of every corner since we started looking at them, and even earlier than that. As you can see in the background, Max Costas just kind of riding the wall. He's one of the few drivers trying that. As a little further up, Chambliss gets the spot from Ray Massey. They almost made some contact out of turn number 4, but kept it straight for the 11th position as Kibbe just can't get by Ortega, and Chuck Sweeting and Ryan Carwile and J.R. Shepard are all doing battle right behind that, as the 3rd through 5th position drivers are starting to pull away from that battle for 6th.
It's been interesting to see the short run versus the long run. We didn't quite get that long run in the first stint of this race. Of course, shortened by a caution there on lap 23. Kind of reset this field, put everybody back on pit road and pour fresh tires. Some drivers electing to just top off with fuel. Well, you saw Aaron Smith. It did not pay off. The 70 car and his 5th ever SNR start is in 24th, a lap down.
He needs a yellow to get back on a lead lap, but when you try to save a tire set, you're betting on it being a race where you see a lot of yellows. Maybe at the end of last season's race, yeah, we saw a lot of yellows, but that race, for the most part, went green as Carwile almost took out Chuck Sweeting there. But as I was saying, you need a lot of yellows for saving a tire set to work, because the strategy gets really funky as far as that goes. That hasn't happened, so he's pretty much got an extra tire set, but he lost time doing that, and unless he gets a flurry of yellows in the last 50, under the 50 laps, it's not going to work out. But worth the gamble. Like we said, he's not in the points fight. He has 2 wins this season. He's proved he's got speed, so why not?
Say yellow one more time. I think you'll speak it into existence.
Well, his car is yellow. I mean, we were talking about a yellow car. I don't know what to tell you.
Watching Reggie Ortega play defense here in the 6th position, still holding off Kenny Kibbe. I'm sure Kibbe's getting frustrated here, but Reggie Ortega, one of the toughest drivers to pass. I've had the honor of being in some official races with the 2-car and get to his bumper as many times as you want. You know, it's nice, it's pleasant to read VSPEED logos on the back of that thing. Man, is it irritating when that's all you can see, and you try to look inside several times here. You're going to see Ortega again on the high line. Probably power out of 2, and there it is again.
I haven't seen the 2-car in officials, but that's probably because I've only ran like 50 official races across every discipline. But definitely a clean driver, very consistent. Ortega is. He has at least 1 win in this series, I believe, at Daytona. But yeah, always consistent, and he's showing it right now. He's been at as high as 3rd. He's kind of hovered around the top 5 and still trying to hold off Kibbe. But for Kibbe, it's probably not as frustrating as Darlington was. Everyone that battled him, Bailey Turner, Jeremy Miller, he could not pass them. And we know Darlington tough to pass. This is nothing to him, I'm sure, but still frustrating when you know you're faster, but that pass is just a little bit too tough to complete. That's just kind of been a bane for him, an issue for him. Not really for him, but just hard to be aggressive without being dirty, and it's just tough because he always gets in these situations, it seems, where it's hard to make that pass, but he doesn't want to be that aggressive to the point where he's making enemies. It's got to cost some positions here and there. As Philip Brewer hits pit lane, this is probably his final stop. He was one of the drivers who short pit earlier.
Watching there, Logan Threlkeld finally able to get past Kyle Peacock. Took him about another 10 laps to get back on momentum and get back around the 83, but there it is, 44, second and last pit stop here under green flag. The 44 car getting 4 fresh tires. This should be the 3rd tire set, I would say, for most of these drivers, and for anybody that's saved. Like we said, it didn't pay off. Aaron Smith relying on the yellow flag to come back out and get him back on the lead lap. You have Benjamin Richards, Philip Brewer now will be added that list of lap-down drivers. This will all cycle through, and I believe Brewer will get back on there, barring he didn't get a speeding penalty. And he's good.
I don't believe he did. That's another thing. I mean, 1 more set of stops from a 35 to make this season. He's got to be consistent and conservative. As closest battle on the track is still this battle for 6th. Kenny Kibbe just cannot pass Ortega, and it's bringing Shepard, Sweeting, Carwile, Chambliss, Ray Massey. They're all right there waiting for something to happen in this battle.
Well, Kibbe's going to have to figure it out soon, otherwise he's going to have people beating down the door.
He is getting closer to that left rear, trying to side draft down the straightaways. Just trying to put Reggie Ortega a little bit off. Maybe get him a little nervous. Like, oh, is he going to hit me if I don't let him by? Should I let him by? I don't want to. Just making him think a little bit more. He's probably the closest he's been to being clear of the 2-car right now.
56 of Richards in the wall, trying to let these drivers by.
Look out. Looks like they'll get by. That actually helped Kibbe a little bit. I think it did kind of hurt Ortega's run on exit. But just cannot make this pass. But he is much better on exit right now. That's where Ortega's struggling the most. Go to the apron, could clear up. Shepard's going to look middle, but not quite there.
Oh, wow, really loose across that quad or that tri-oval.
Well, he almost had it clear. He would have without that. We're used to seeing that getting loose over the transition in a cup car with the way the downforce is, but not an Xfinity car. These guys are struggling with that apron. It kind of cost him that position for now.
And I can't guarantee that he'll be live on Twitch right now, but E-Nascar Kibbs on Twitch, and looks like Shepard going to follow him into pit road here. Locks it up a little bit, but down to speed.
Lap 110. This is pretty much filling up evenly. These guys pit around lap 70, so this makes sense. You do some 40-lap runs to the end. It's exactly what they'll do. A few others came down. Max Cost and Kyle Peacock. This should start the final round of stops for the season.
84 Kibbe down and away. There's
Ortega.
Max Cost.
Yep, Max Cost and Ortega, Chambliss, Massey all pit at the same time. Ortega was deep, but I think he got in. Max Cost is his 55th start in this series. He's not missed many, if any, races in this series.
Just missed the playoffs there, and he was one of the drivers that was leading outside of that top 12 in the chase. And I think he did miss last week. I'll have to go back and clarify that, but I believe he did miss last week's race, and it put him outside that bubble. Could be wrong on that. I'll have to go back and clarify on that one.
We'll look back at him, sure. See who else wants to come to pit lane. Pretty much everyone else who was top 5 did not pit. Lap 113, Jeff Wright. We haven't looked at him in a while because he's been alone for a while. 3.5-second lead over Joshua Banks, who continues in second as Ortega comes out ahead of Massey, who actually jumped Chambliss on pit lane there. So that's interesting. They pit on the same lap, and there was a battle change, or a position change in that. Who else came down? Benjamin Richards, he had already come down the pit.
Chambliss is loose.
Chambliss, whoa.
Through the grass.
Look, oh goodness. That was out of nowhere. Just lost it out of 4, it looked like, on his own. I don't know what that was about, but just completely lost grip at the worst time. That'll make Jeff Wright, that'll make everyone who has the pit go around at least one extra lap as well. We're the ones who are like, okay, let me wait just in case something else happens. Could be a product of cold tires, I guess.
Yeah, he came out of 4 pretty sideways, and you see him down here on the apron trying to get as much as he can. Chambliss came out side by side with Ray Massey on this exit. Watch this car just snap free.
That's one thing we don't talk about a lot on the ovals, but cold tires can catch you out on ovals too, and not just road courses. Right there, he had a big slide, and he just never really fully had control, and he did a good job at least keeping it straight. This is where the fun begins, or maybe not fun, but the joyride begins. Going over the quarter mile and even kicked up some dirt onto the track there. That could end up playing a factor. That could also be a reason drivers are getting sideways out of that oval. Yeah, that's new. The new debris refresh, the way that works, you lose a lot more grip, and I don't exactly know fully how it works, but we know it just gives you a bunch of less grip, and it's a lot more apparent. You can see it on the track. That's not something you would have seen as well a week ago before this build. So that's something we have to note as well, as Banks has brought it down to pit lane for the final time this season. He's kept it clean on pit entry.
We'll see if Jeff Wright follows suit. He will 1 lap later, just as before. The execution has been perfect here, Connor, with pit stops for the pretty much top 20 in this field.
For the first time, we have a leader, a different leader. Not for the first time, but first time in a while we have a different leader. Mark Whitley's going to stay out a little longer, at least get a few more laps led. He actually did already lead some laps earlier in this race. This is exactly how last season's race went, though. We went green, got on inside 5 to go or 10 to go, and then we had yellows, and then it kicked off from there. Never over until it's over.
Yeah, Jeff Wright would agree with you. It's never over until it's over, and he's going to continue to fight in the hopes that Joshua Banks has something go wrong here. So we continue to stretch this field around this racetrack. The likelihood of that happening gets slimmer and slimmer, but you're starting to see that difference of tires where Whitley is now 45 laps on this stint. He has some drivers that are on much fresher tires as Kenny Kibbe goes by. That can trigger a yellow. You can get yourself in a situation as you see the 77 now sliding in.
Oh boy, look out. Carwell sliding in. He's sliding in too. He's just been hoping for those top 2 to wreck, and it has not happened, but he's been top 10 all night long. Chuck Sweeten came down the previous lap. Logan Threlkeld, who I believe... he did not take the lead. He's behind these guys. Now he's going to come down, and that should cycle things out back to the 48, as Carwell might have missed his stall there. No, he didn't. He made it. I saw he's a little deep, so that should be everything cycled out. Here comes a 48 around to the line, and he will be the race leader once again with about just under a lap before 30 to go.
So that cycles off our final green flag pit stops of the season. If anybody comes back down, it's going to be because of a late race yellow, and Jeff Wright does not want to see that. However, he also wants to see a lot of other things happen. Joshua Banks back to 4th right now. Now, if you're a 35 fan, don't panic. He's got Kenny Kibbe and Jared Shepard in front of him. They definitely short pitted by about 6 laps. We'll have to wait and see. 35 most likely going to catch back up here, but a little bit off there, a little conservative on that last pit stop. Reggie Ortega, Ray Massey, and a few of these other guys, they're hanging back just behind him.
Hanging back just behind him. They are also drivers who pit earlier than the 35, so Banks' tires are pretty fresh. We should definitely get the Kibbe and Shepard in a little bit here and pretty much be back to where he was. He's only 3.7 seconds behind the 48 right now. It's pretty much where he's been hovering. He's kind of been fading as these long runs have started to happen. The 48 started to flex his muscle. And Banks has been fast, better than the rest, but not as fast as the 48. But thankfully for him right now, that's not what he needs to be tonight. So he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He did not lose too much time on that cycle, and he should get those spots back.
Then half a second now of Kenny Kibbe. Continues to chase down on this top three. Just closing speed here with just a 6-lap difference on tires. It's incredible. Off of turn 2, Banks to the bottom. Take the low line into 3 and 4. Another position gain, goes to work on the 98.
I don't think there'll be too much work going into this battle. A few Mustangs in the field, 90 of J.R. Shepard. He's been pretty good at the end of this season. He started 30th today. He's in line probably for a top 10 finish. He could fight for a top 5, but not going to be able to fight for second with the 35's pace. Ford versus Toyota. Toyota's going to win this battle.
With that, we're going to pay some more bills, take another quick commercial break here, and then have uninterrupted coverage for the remainder of this race. We're watching the Saturday Night Racing League live on VSPEED from Las Vegas to our championship. We'll be right back.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back here at Las Vegas, just over 20 laps to go as Jeff Wright will cross the line to get that 20 to go mark. He has led 107 of our 131. Jeff Wright is putting on a dominant race, but it's just not been enough. Joshua Banks just behind him has led 15 here today. He's right in the tire tracks, about 4.5 seconds back. He's on an island all his own as he pulls away from J.R. Shepard.
Yeah, he was with the 48. His long run's gone on. He's kind of been relegated back to his own island, like you said. Just not able to keep pace with Jeff Wright on these longer runs because he had to keep short pitting. The 48 would pull away with the fresher tires on the long run. As McWhorter's starting to look for this third position, Mark Whitley did not have the best pit cycle. He is faster right now, but a little further back than he wants to be, I would think. So he's going to have to catch up to this battle for third. McWhorter a little faster than Shepard right now. He already got by Kenny Kibbe.
One of the drivers we talked about in the long run, Mark Whitley, is back in 7th there. He's pretty far from this battle, about a second and a half. Back and forth here with drivers of Reggie Ortega, Ray Massey. Gonna go side by side into 1 and 2 as Whitley pulls away a little bit here. Reggie Ortega, definitely a top 10 car, possibly a top 5 car, but I think right now that short pit that these two drivers pulled off, they're going to fight amongst themselves, but I don't think they have anything for that top 5.
I don't know if it's the track cooling off a little bit or it's just getting darker out really or what, but Ortega's kind of been a little slower this run back in this battle for the 8th position. Just not able to keep as well of a pace with the 5 ahead of him. And it's kind of been relegated to this battle with Ray Massey. Same thing for Ryan Carlisle, although I think he went pretty long on his last set of tires. He's actually very fast right now in that 71. But the two just not really able to be as fast as he was earlier in this race as Whitley's looking to be inside of Alex Bell. They're really tight. Oh, they made contact! Alex Bell slides out of turn number 4. He saved it, though. Goodness, that could have changed everything, but he kept it straight. As him and Mark Whitley came together again.
V-Speed instant replay. Looks like Bell gets a little loose. Gives Whitley the inside into 3.
Gonna pinch him down. Whitley never really got to the bottom either. I think that was the case. Whitley just missed the white line, and when the 15 got to his door, it just pushed the 77 up the track into the 15. So I don't think there's any fault to this kind of racing. It happens, especially at 1.5 miles. But that could have been horrible.
I think the 15 was getting loose before that contact as well, and maybe Whitley saved him.
Could be possible. Definitely looked like those two coming together caused the 15 to get that sideways. And Bell's a teammate to Banks, so he knew they couldn't afford a yellow. That's probably the hardest he's ever worked at making a save. He did a good job doing so. Now he might drop back to that battle for 8th, make it into a battle for 7th. Because Ryan Carwell's about to get both those positions. He might get a 3rd. Banks all clear. McWhorter up to 3rd. Shepard 4th. Kibbe 5th. But now Mark Whitley's about to chase down that 84.
The battle you mentioned with Ryan Carlisle to the inside and Ray Massey almost to the outside wall. Carlisle bad fast here. Stretched the run almost 10 laps longer than these drivers.
Yeah, much fresher tires right now. Could end up playing a big advantage to get him into the top 5. He's still got some time to chase down Shepard and Kibbe. And maybe we can get Mark Whitley, especially if Whitley starts getting held up. He's not able to breeze by these two very easily for that 4th and 5th, for the 4th and 5th positions. So battling throughout the field, Bryce Shoemaker, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, not side by side, but they're right next to each other for the 15th position. Matt Shanowski, haven't talked about him a lot. He's 18th, kind of on his own. Max Cost in the vicinity. But pretty spread out at this point. Most of the battles are inside the top 10 positions.
Mark Whitley up to 5th now, gets around the 84 of Kenny Kibbe. Next driver in line is J.R. Shepard, and you have Joseph McWhorter about 6/10 ahead of him. There's plenty of time here for Mark Whitley to get a podium finish.
I think he's faster than Shepard I don't know if he's going to be able to make the pass on McWhorter, but he's able to do it at the end of the last run, so I wouldn't put it past him. But Shepard's making him work pretty hard, and Whitley won't put up with that for very long because he knows he's got to go, and he got really close to the left rear quarter panel of Shepard that time. Same time, Carwell's working over Alex Bell for 7th, and Ray Massey and Chuck Sweeting are side by side for 10th.
Whitley still not able to clear the 98 on the outside. J.R. Shepard holding on to 4th position, but has to concede that spot as Whitley sends it into 1.
I think he went up there too far. It's going to give Shepard the crossover attempt, and he might even give it back to the 77. But if he doesn't try to slide him back, that's what Whitley wanted. He now is positioning on the outside to pinch 98 down, but Shepard got clear, but he's going to get the run back off the top. Now he's where he wants to be.
Have about 8 laps to do it here. See that car in the white just ahead. That's his teammate, Joseph McWhorter, 0.7 of a second. If he wants a podium finish, could go back-to-back in the VSPEED booth. Of course, Whitley, the winner at New Hampshire. And we got side-by-side behind him.
Kibbe and Shepard have kind of been fighting each other as well, but they haven't really crossed paths. They haven't changed positions, I should say. But now they're finally going to start battling for this top 5. Meanwhile, behind them, Carwell, it took a while for him to get by Alex Bell, but he finally did. But I think he took too long. I don't think he's going to get the 2 ahead of him. But at least he's finally got 7th. And Chuck Sweeting took 10th away from Ray Massey.
Well, here's the driver that dominated the day. He's led the most laps. Started on the pole. We knew coming into tonight he was going to bring his A game. He did just that. But again, it's one of those frustrating races where no matter how hard you try, there's a driver behind you that has everything to lose and all of it to gain. Joshua Banks comes in tonight with an 11-point lead. All he had to do mathematically was finish 6th or higher. And here he is in 2nd position with 15 laps led. He stayed right in the tire tracks of Jeff Wright this entire race. Just over 5 laps to go. And Joshua Banks, barring nothing happens, is on the cusp of being your 3rd-time champion in SNR.
It is a very close reality that we're looking at Jeff Wright looking at his 3rd straight title and having all the titles. It's just like last season where it comes down to one race in the chase to derail everything. He exited Bristol with a 7-point lead in the standings, 7 points over Carwell. He had 19 points over Joshua Banks after Bristol. And then we went to Talladega, where anything can happen. Anything did happen. He left that race 9 points behind Joshua Banks. That was a 26-point swing that might just have dictated this title fight. Just like last season, that last season happened at Vegas with McWhorter winning and Jeff Wright getting wrecked out. This season it was Talladega, where you expect it to happen. I can't imagine how tough it is for Jeff Wright to, I mean, he knows what happened the past 2 seasons. He knows it was out of his control, pretty much. There's nothing you can do about that. That's just racing sometimes. You have to deal with it. You have to roll with the blows and come back stronger. And that's exactly what he'll do next season, regardless of what happens in these last 3.5 laps.
But coming back stronger, we talked about the strength and the growth of Saturday night racing and the variety of different drivers that have won. 11 different drivers. We don't hear about that a lot. Here on VSPEED, we watched all varieties, all disciplines, all car types, all track types. And everyone focuses on one car type. I've seen it time and time again. These drivers, they kind of toss it around. And the B car, maybe next season we go to Gen 4. We don't know. And so it could be anything. These guys are pretty good when it comes to ovals and whatever they're going to drive. Well, I'm sure we'll see a car and track combination that Jeff Wright will strive on again. 2 laps to go.
Battle for 4th actually kind of back on. Mark Whitley couldn't pull away from Shepard and Kibbe. I don't know if they'll be able to pass Whitley back, but 77 has not pulled away, so McWhorter's 3rd place looks pretty safe. Bell's up to 8th, or he stayed in 8th. Ortega's 9th. Chuck Sweeting 10th. Then Massey Lakatos, Chambliss, Shoemaker, Brewer, Butcher, Benjamin, Threlkeld, Trejo, Shonoski, who are battling for 18th, and then Max Cost, final driver on the lead lap, as Jeff Wright's coming out of turn 4 to take the final lap of the season.
White flag in the air. Final race, final lap, season 3, about to be over with. Jeff Wright, 3.5 seconds ahead of Joshua Banks. All eyes on the 35 as he's going to wrap this season up. But Jeff Wright will win the final race of the season into 3 and 4. The 48 car with a dominant performance. Jeff Wright is your victor in the final race of season 3. 127 laps led for Jeff Wright. But it's this guy back here, Joshua Banks, is going to be your season 3 champion.
Pretty unreal. He's been waiting a long time for a league championship. And I know he's been dying to have one. And he got in position to do it, and he did exactly what he needed to do tonight. And he's finally got that title. And you can see the emotion kind of overcoming him. It's a good feeling, and he's finally able to feel it.
Adds his name to a limited list of drivers. Everyone coming out here to congratulate him. His teammate pushing him back to the start-finish line. Casey Lakatos also up there. Just, I mean, it's surreal. And we talked to McWhorter last season, the emotion that ran over him. It's nothing but smiles right now for Joshua Banks.
And it shines brightest in these chase formats. Consistency wins titles. And he did exactly what he needed to do in this 5-race stretch.
The reset in the points, able to overcome all of it, get the finishes that he needed. And Joshua Banks will prevail, Season 3 champion, declared here at Las Vegas. Post-race interviews with your top 3, and we're going to bring that champion in first. We're going to bring Joshua Banks up here and get a word with him. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League season finale. More coverage will continue here on VSPEED right after this.
What is up, everyone? I am Joshua Banks, driver of the number 35 Matco Tool Supra.
Comes back. He's going to send it to the inside. They're 3 wide for the race lead. They're going to... Joshua Banks is going to win it. Unbelievable.
And also co-owner of M&J Distributors, for the sponsor of Saturday Night Racing. So I just want to thank every single one of you for tuning into tonight's race. I hope you will put on a good show for you guys. I hope that you will enjoy it. So if you do, make sure you drop a thumbs up to VSPEED and subscribe to them, because they, as y'all know, if you haven't already, they put on some great broadcasts. So I'll make this short and sweet. The main reason for sponsoring Saturday Night Racing League is because I've been with these guys for a long time. I've raced with a lot of them. I've been through some rough times, some good times, and arguments and everything like that. But still, grand scheme of things, been through a lot of these guys, and I really do like where this league's going. I want to support it. They've given a lot to the league already, and I think, you know, I'm capable to support back. So that's what we're doing, and we want to keep this league free, you know, for people to join, to have a good time, come in and race and just have fun, you know, and that's what we're all about. So that's the main reason, and that's all I really have to say about it. So I hope you do enjoy the race, enjoy the season coming up. We are hopefully going to put on a great season for you guys. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Banksy the iRacer. Link will be in the description. Check out, and you can see my point of view, see what's happening on my end. If you want to watch it, it's completely fine. If not, no big deal. So come on over, hang out after the broadcast of this race, and hopefully we'll see you over there. If not, enjoy it, and I'll see you guys on track.
Lap traffic out of the way. It's between these two. They're even for the white flag lap.
This race still very undecided.
Bradley had the lift. Big run for McWhorter. This is going to be his chance.
They're running out of time, and they know it. horsepower at their feet.
That was a huge run for Bradley. He got back the advantage, but here comes a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Here comes Ray Massey. Ray Massey's going to win it.
Racing enthusiasts, are you ready to take your sim racing experience to the next level? Look no further because 29 Graphics has got you covered. Introducing 29 Graphics, the premier provider of high-quality sim racing wraps. Whether you're a professional racer or weekend warrior, our custom design wraps will make your car stand out from the competition. 29 Graphics is now the official graphics design partner of Saturday Night Racing League.
It's a big dive. McWhorter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, they put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash.
Contact 29 Graphics on their Discord or the link in the video description.
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
In the heartland of our country, something magical is happening. At Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes, we know the power of community, of hands coming together to create wonders. These costumes are symbols of love, compassion, and inclusion. Your hands can craft dreams. Join us at Walkin' and Rollin' Costumes build events and be a part of something extraordinary.
Back here live at Las Vegas, the Saturday Night Racing League has concluded their 150 laps, and their Season 3 champion has been crowned. It was Jeff Wright with a dominant performance, but overall, Jeff Wright starting on the pole, leading the most laps, and winning the race with 11 lead changes and 1 yellow. Still not enough, and Joshua Banks is going to be your Season 3 champion. Joseph McWhorter will come home in third with Mark Whitley in fourth position. J.R. Shepard will finish in the top 5. Kenny Kibbe will finish in 6th with Ryan Carwile in 7th. Alex Bell in 8th with Reggie Ortega in 9th. Chuck Sweeting is going to round out the top 10.
That's top 10 for Sweeting end of the season, and Shepard gets that top 5. A good end of the season for him. Ray Massey won at Bristol, could not win tonight. Decent 11th place finish. Case Lakatos wins the bracket challenge we were talking about. I still don't know whether or not he's going up against Austin Belkey, but either way, we do know officially he is the bracket challenge winner with that 12th place finish. Brian Chambliss finishes 13th after that slide out of 4. Bryce Shoemaker 14th. He had a bout with the wall earlier. Philip Brewer, he was kind of on an awkward strategy. He got 15th out of it. Taylor Butcher-Benjamin 16th. Logan Threlkeld, V-Speed Zone 17th. Matt Shinovsky, didn't talk about him a lot, but he gets an 18th from 33rd. Eddie Trejo 19th. And Max Koss rounds out his season with a top 20 finish.
21st will go to Kyle Peacock, Caleb Weekly in 22nd. Nick Wood will finish 23rd with Aaron Smith in 24th. Benjamin Richards started in 34th, will finish 25th, 2 laps down. Chris Hodges, an early exit today in 26th. AJ Stravato and a penalty down pit road will finish 27th. Rob Hamp will finish in 28th position. Jonathan Smith, an early exit as well, 29th. Johnny Rapp, 30th position. 5 more cars to talk about here at the tail end of this field. Jerry Bergeron, Keith Shoemaker, Brandon Wallace, Austin Belkey, all involved and an incident early in that race. The only caution here in this race involving all 4 of those drivers, and then Brian Hennings rounding out the field, electing not to grid here today. And with that, we finally bring you down to trackside with Connor Horn. He has caught up with Joshua Banks, your champion of season 3.
Everything.
And I do have Joshua Banks. Sorry to cut you off from your conversation, Joshua. We're in Champions Victory Lane. This is your victory lane. Season 3, we saw the emotion of directly after a checkered flag. You've been waiting on this a while. I know that for sure. What is the emotion? Can you even describe it?
I can't. I was just talking to Reggie and them about it. It's just it feels unreal. I want to point this out beginning before the interview. Hashtag not rigged, because we are the sponsor. So hashtag not rigged. But it is something that I can't believe. Like I was saying, it's hard to believe. It's something I've been working for years now, Connor. I've raced with you before a long time ago, and I've never really had the championship pace. I can have pace at race here and there, but the championship pace is what we needed to work on. And finally things worked out. And second place tonight's good, and it was good enough for the championship. And it's hard to believe, Connor. It really is. I don't know. I'm almost lost for words. I don't really have emotion. It just, other than excitement and relief that I finally got one under the belt, and it feels really, really good. It's hard to put any other words to it.
I can't imagine it could feel any better. A lot of fighting went on in this chase for you to get in that position to win the title, and obviously you really only needed top 5, top 10. You just need to keep the 48 in your sight, basically. And the main point I'll talk about in this race was you guys battling in the first third of this race. Obviously very intense. Was there ever a thought of just letting him go? It's probably a rhetorical question, because obviously you were battling him hard, he was battling you hard, but it was good fun racing. How was that dynamic, like battling him like that?
Oh, for sure. It was definitely really good racing. I wanted to race. I'm not here to, just ride around in my safe zone and try to, okay, I have to finish 7th. We need to finish better than that. I want to race. And if the car and I feel good on the track and got pace, we're going to go for the win. Definitely Jeff outbeat me though on pace tonight. That second run, the car took a swing that I wasn't predicting. And like all the practicing I've done this week to try to prepare for this definitely worked out for one, but it did a thing where the car was handling differently than I was used to. So I was trying to relearn that. And that final run, we finally figured something out to gain a little bit on Jeff. Obviously it wasn't enough, but it's just enough to gain back to him. But that first run, I had pace and was watching McWhorter and Jeff go at it, and letting them use their stuff up, going at it. And I was like, okay, maybe we can get around him. Sure enough, we did with some fighting and pulled away from the pack. And that was huge, being able to, fight Jeff and see the pack, shrinking, so to speak. That gives me a little bit more confidence into the race, knowing, okay, we got pace to pull away from the field, and while battling on that note, and maintain where we're at. Because if, we weren't having pace long run, then we weren't going to be sitting where we are today. So definitely fun racing though. I really enjoyed it with Jeff. Just wish I could have, fought him for the win at the end.
Yeah, obviously he was very fast. We'll get to talk to him a little bit, but yeah, you two were definitely class of the field, and he ended up being kind of in his own class. But obviously, incredible championship feat for you. 3 seasons, you're the 3rd champion. You can go through shouting out the sponsors, thanking everyone you raced with, and thanking just everyone you want to. And also an extra question for you. The 73 couldn't go back to back this season. 48 couldn't do it the season before. Are you gonna be the first one to do it?
Oh, that's a tough question, Connor. We're definitely going to try. It depends on the car we go for next season. I feel pretty confident with what we can run, what car and what track. Without the issues we had this season and mistakes that I've made throughout this season, I feel like we could have been in a better spot in this points for the chase. But I'm really looking forward to it. We'll just see how the races unfold, see how things align and everything, but we're going to try. You're dang right we are. So we'll see what happens. But man, shout out to all the drivers here. we're racing, and even the guys in the back may not be talked about much, but man, them showing up every week, it's really awesome to have the full field every single week. So shout out to all the drivers here that show up here every single week, and to our guys up and running for the chase, the hard battling we put on week in and week out. It's awesome racing throughout the entire season for sure. So shout out to everybody there. Shout out to the admins in the league for putting on this league and keeping it up as they do and doing an awesome job. And shout out to you guys in the booth, VSPEED, man. Y'all putting on the show. I made sure y'all stayed on board. So got to make sure we do it again next season, of course. So thank you guys for what you do up in the booth and how much effort y'all been putting into it. It's really good stuff out there. And so thanks you guys for that. And then, of course, main sponsor, M&J Distributors. That is my company that I run with Macco Tools. So running the tool truck. So shout out to myself. There we go. And like I said at the beginning, hashtag not rigged. But shout out to those guys and everybody else partnering with the league. Clark Print Shop. And I'm going to blow through it like I feel like I know them all, but I don't. So if I forget you, please forgive me. But we got Clark Print Shop. We got who else is in here? Lord have mercy. I am a terrible guy to remember stuff. Let me get out my car and I will tell you exactly who's all on this. If I can get my
the cue card we sent you.
Yeah, right. This is not
Read from the
scripted.
prompter.
All right, we got who we got on the car here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell y'all right now. We got Rock and Rolling Costumes, Clark Print Shop, 29 Graphics. All those guys on board. Oh, there we go. I think we got them all. So, of course, myself, like I said, and shout out to Antron Brown. Okay, so I have his team name on the back of the car, and he won a championship this year. His not first one, but I think his fourth one of his career. So, shout out to those guys and their team for winning their Top Fuel championship. So it's cool to have their name on the car, and we'll be seeing them in April and sharing the news that we got ourselves a championship this year as well. So it's going to be really cool to share that information with them. So it's an iRacing league. It's virtual. It's nothing big like NASCAR or something like that, but it's still we go out here, we race, we sweat and race hard and have fun times, and it's still something you work toward as a driver and everything. So it's really cool to get this championship, and it's starting to sit in just a little bit. It's coming in. I think once something clicks, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we're a freaking champion out of here. So it's gonna start sitting in more and more. It's gonna be crazy, man.
Well, someone once told me that maybe the cars aren't real, the racing sure is, and you were number 2 tonight, but the 35 is number 1 for the season, your first title, Saturday Night Racing League. Joshua Banks, congratulations on it, buddy. Go celebrate, do what you want to do. Thanks for talking to us, and I'm sure we'll talk to you next season. You have a great off season as the champ. And
all right, buddy. We're gonna do our best. We're gonna crack some cold ones and further for my in-laws and everything. I'm talking about Sprite and water and all that fun stuff. But no, we're gonna have a good time. So it's a good one.
Yes, sir. Invite Bradley, will you?
Oh, Lord have mercy. I might not come out alive. May not come out alive, gentlemen. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him.
Hopefully so. Congratulations once again. We'll see you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
Celebrations going on already, eh?
Yeah, I got my invite. Don't worry, Connor.
Okay. I didn't make it sure. Well, apparently he just got the cue card, so I'm not sure.
All right, we got a few other drivers here. We're gonna pull up Joseph McWhorter here, and then we'll get to Casey Lakatos, our bracket winner. But here's your third place finisher of the night, Joseph McWhorter. Looked like you put some practice laps in as well. You were one of those drivers that was hanging on. You were the class of the field when it came to that top 5, from 3rd back to probably 14th. You had and Mark Whitley were always finding your way at the end of this long run back up to the top 3. You were able to get that podium.
Yeah, it seemed like the track kind of made a change, and then I just got better as the race went on. I was really struggling those first couple runs. I was good that first run trying to get around Jeff, and then that second run I was just god-awful, just sideways, fell back to I think 10th, 11th, whatever it was, and then we had that first green flag stop. Was able to gain a lot of those positions back, after that. Played it long for that final pit stop, and then was just able to – I just finally figured something out on saving tire. I was really, really good on the right sides on that the last two stops. So, yeah, it was very, very frustrating, but at least we finally had some speed, I guess.
Definitely had some speed, definitely had some practice, and I could tell by the way that you guys were getting around. You went up there and challenged Jeff Wright very early in this race. You had Banks also there challenging you back for positions. You guys went back and forth for probably a good 15 laps or so. But like you said, the track change, we heard Banks mention that as well, that it kind of handled weird. It must have benefited you, and the car came back. So talk a little bit about that, how this racetrack kind of evolved, and maybe with the iRacing's new build, how maybe that played a factor.
Yeah, once we kind of started seeing more and more of the shadow come across the front straightaway and the sun started going down, it seemed like 1 and 2 was getting better, but like the exit of the exit of 4 where it was real shiny, where the sun was really beating down, that was the worst part of the whole track there for a little while. But it almost felt like I feel like if we gone into the full dark and everything, I feel like this car would have gotten even better. It almost felt like we were on a nighttime setup on a day track, a real hot, slick day track. I don't know. Did you guys tell me how hot it got tonight?
It was right around 100 degrees. It got to 99 when we checked it last. And then once it peaked there, I think we did hit triple digits one time. It dropped back down to about 96, 97 to end the race.
Yeah, so yeah, once it started kind of dropping back down was whenever it really just started making the correct swing in the car. And that's kind of the downside of doing the fixed stuff that we do. And I really wish that iRacing would kind of come out with a way where we could be fixed setup racing but make pit stop adjustments, because I feel like had we been able to make some adjustments when it was the hottest and when it was the most bright, I feel like that would have made the racing really good, and kind of spread the field out among all the different lanes. I mean, you kind of saw it, but the top just wasn't really as good as the bottom. Um, so, and like I said, it really felt like a night car on a day track.
Makes sense. And it was kind of night and day difference from where you started this race midway through the race to the very end of it. So it makes absolute sense. We see it up here in the booth, plain as day, how this track evolved and how you guys kind of overcome and learn throughout the race. But Joseph McWhorter, I know you wanted to go back to back, last season champion, but you come home third. You were in a fighting chance. That little mistake there last week, I know you were kicking yourself. We got to talk to you a little bit there during that race. But hey, man, hold your head high. Still have championship speed. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for third place tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, it was kind of a heartbreaker to have the PC freeze last week and take us out of contention. You know, especially whenever we fought our way back into it. So that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, I want to thank Red Camel Racing. They've been an absolute amazing sponsor of mine for many years now. We're working on signing a deal for next year, brand new racing gear for real life. So I'm really looking forward to them. Go check them out at redcamelracing.com. Harpoondesign.com. Brantley does amazing paint schemes. Great spotter. Go check them out at harpoondesign.com. I think they have over 2,000 paint schemes, and you can also do custom. He's a little swamped right now, so give him time if you're going to be placing any orders. My new sponsor, Outlier Setup Shops. Go check them out. They're an awesome partner. Great setups. Been really enjoying working with those guys. Johnny and the boys have been building some really fast race cars over there. You guys for putting on an awesome broadcast again. Really hoping that you guys are coming back for season 4. We've really enjoyed having you guys. You guys put in a lot of hard work covering all the details, all the drama, all the storylines. So big shout out to you guys. All of our admins for all the hard work that they do this season. I want to thank Banks for coming on as a sponsor and wish him a congratulations on his championship. Very well earned. That guy is one of the nicest guys, one of the hardest competitors that we have. So big congrats to him. It's awesome, you know, getting to be up on that front stretch and take a picture with all 3 of the champions, and I mean also having all 3 of the champions finish 1, 2, 3. So that was pretty cool. It's weird how the world works that way sometimes, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully, depending on what the schedule looks like in the car choice for next season, hopefully getting one more season for real life racing, and then wrapping up our SNR career next season, depending.
Well, we appreciate your time, McWhorter, and we look forward to, we'll let the cat out of the bag. February 1st, I believe, is the date that we're setting. So we'll have an official announcement on that with the schedule, but appreciate it and look forward to next season.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You guys have been awesome this season, so thank you guys so much. Hopefully, you guys are back next season.
Thank you very much. That was Joseph McWhorter, third place finisher here tonight. And he will, I believe, round off in the fifth position here, maybe fourth, Connor. I don't know if we have a number exactly on where these guys, I don't know if we have the points tallied yet or not.
I don't believe we do, but he was 16 points behind Carlisle, so safe to say he didn't catch the 71 for fourth. So I would say he had pretty confident he finished. Well, he might have finished fourth in the standings. Bailey Turner was not here, so he actually probably did get fourth in the standings with Turner dropping down the order, so that would put Carlisle to third in the standings. But yeah, definitely probably not what he wanted on the season. Wanted the repeat, obviously, but still a good showing. Just showed, like we said last week, the talent level upped this season.
With that, we're going to move on to Casey Lakatos, and Connor Horn is standing by. We don't have a graphic for the bracket challenge winner, so we're going to put this up here instead. But bracket challenge winner of 5 races, Casey Lakatos.
Yeah, like Casey got through every single round, beating the driver he was against, and you're the bracket challenge winner with a 12th place finish. Seemed like a pretty simple day for you, but Casey, but ended up being pretty solid and had a pretty decent chase run to get this bracket challenge. That was your race today. It seemed pretty easy for you and worked your way through the field a little bit.
Yeah, it was overall a pretty calm day. Nothing more I could really ask for. We had a really great first run. I mean, I think we started about 17th and moved our way up to somewhere within the top 10, then up to 6th. Felt really good. I mean, overall, don't know what changed. I think just trying to race around others, maybe pushing it just a tad too hard and burn the tires up there on second and third run. So overall, I mean, still positive gain for the race and happy we could come home with a little bit of bragging rights. Yeah, I mean, certainly a little distraught that we missed the chase in the original, but you know what? For taking a little bit easier this season after running God knows how many years with these guys, it's second home for me. I enjoy running with everybody. They're all brothers here, so it's always fun to see who we got coming in and who we can race against, bringing in the competition. So.
And definitely a lot of competition this season. You were fast, obviously, like you said, just couldn't quite squeak your way into a chase, but you'll probably end up finishing around the top 15 in points. Obviously, I think your teammate is Joshua Banks. He won the title. How awesome was that to see that unfold, though, through his chase run, to see him become champion?
I'm so proud of Banksy. I applaud that man. He's been doing this for so many years, just along with me. Awesome to be running with him and see him. I mean, every lap up until the end, he's like, I just don't know. I just can't believe it. And you know what? I'm proud of him. I can't say anything more than that. Been one of those years, and same thing with Alex Bell. I'm sad to see him go, but congratulations on the second kid on the way. Man, and we always talk about it, battling it out at Phoenix and many other tracks amongst this league and others. So hopefully I'll be able to stick around with Banksy for yet another year. Hopefully he can double down on his championship. But, you know, at some point I know we all go our own ways.
We'll just have to see how everything ends up shaping out. But obviously with his title, a great season for him. You had a pretty solid season yourself. Congratulations. Yet another season Saturday Night Racing League in the books for you. And you're the Bracket Challenge winner for this chase season. Anyone you want to thank, shout out, sponsor-wise, driver-wise, anyone really?
Really, I want to congratulate the top 3, of course, on their championship run. McWhorter, Bright, and Banksy, of course. The FBI team, Fat Boys Incorporated. I'm proud to be running with those guys, getting together for this whole season. J-Rock Gaming, COD Players Union. I mean, everybody that puts their name on the car, it's appreciated. You guys running this show, you do an awesome job. Admins, of course, keeping a nice free league and getting many drivers race after race, 30 plus. It's been a phenomenal season. It's wonderful to see after being so many years, like I said, just being here and watching how this thing has grown.
Yes, it's growing, and it's going to continue to grow in the season 4. Casey, congratulations on another great season. Solid run, bracket challenge winner, your teammate win the championship. Good night for you overall, and at number 50. Thanks for talking to us once again, and you have a good off season. We'll see you even stronger next season.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.
With that, we move on to the final driver that we're going to talk to tonight. It's Jeff Wright in the number 48, your race winner, runner-up in the championship. Jeff, this one isn't as sour as last season. I can tell you that you definitely put up a fighting chance. It was there in front of you, and at the very least, you got to race it out. You did everything you had to do. Just walk us through the race and what you had mindset-wise coming into this week.
Yeah, the mindset was pretty straightforward. I had to go out and win the race, and then I had to kind of just see where everything else fell, right? I could only control what I could control. We got the pole. We led a lot of laps and ended up winning the race, but it wasn't quite enough, so we needed to score more points on Banks tonight. But no, I feel good with this. I'm happy we could go out on top with a win, and I'm super happy for Banks. I mean, he earned this one for sure. He was consistent all season long. And then also he's been one of our biggest supporters on the financial side of things with M&J Distributors coming on board this season. So that's huge. So if anybody's going to beat me for the championship tonight, I cannot be too disappointed with Josh winning this one. So he's a great guy, a great competitor, become a great friend. So yeah, I'm happy for him, man. I'm not even that disappointed really that I didn't win the championship. I'm just I'm stoked that we have him as a huge supporter, so we can continue to do this. And I just can't wait for next season at this point. We're going to have to try to go back at him, between me, Banks, and McWhorter. Seems like it's the fight for who can get to 2 first now at this point.
We talked about the variety, 11 different drivers getting a win this season. You had 3 wins. Only 3 drivers could say that they had more than one. And then you talk about how big this league has grown. It continues to grow. And you said you were super stoked for Banks, but, super stoked. From my point of view, I think you growing this and working with the team that you have behind you, that being, Reggie Ortega and Chad and all those guys that helped put this together, the group has just continued to grow. You still have 30 plus cars on the racetrack in the final race of the season.
Yeah, that says a lot about, the guys that we have that are part of this league. So, not only our drivers or competitors, that we race against, but everybody that supports us and keeps this thing running. And, a lot of, all the co-league admins, we got to, thank everybody involved because, it would be impossible for one single person to put this type of stuff on. So, we really got to shout out, Reggie and Brian and Chad, Bryce, the first half of the season when he was out helping out with the admin side of things. And everybody who's been donating financially to make these things happen. It takes money to run these things. And, for us to have a broadcast team like you guys, that put such a quality product together, not every league can do that. Not every league can afford that. But thanks to the generosity of all the guys involved, we can do that. So it really takes everybody. And like you said, 35 plus cars here in the season finale. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. I'm just really looking forward to next season at this point. And it's gonna be a battle to try to get back to championship caliber, but I know we got a lot of guys in here that are going to be competing for that, and we've had some newcomers here, really in the last second half of the season. I mean, you got to look out for Jared Shepard and Kenny Kibbe. Those guys are running top 10, top 5 every single week. Those guys are really good, so those are going to be some guys to look out for as well. But just try to mention everybody that makes this thing happen, because no single person can put this all on by themselves. It takes a team effort, and we got a great team.
Well, you almost segued perfectly there. You were talking about the next season, so we're going to go ahead and put that up. Actually, let me jump over here to the proper scene as we got B-roll here. Let me see if that makes more sense. We're going to be talking about Saturday Night Racing League season number 4 starting February 1st at Daytona Super Speedway, going all the way to June 21st at Miami. So, Jeff, talk about it here. We got another great season lined up here, and a little off week there for my wife. But outside of that, it looks like a pretty solid schedule.
Yep, had to get the off week in there for Mr. Cooper's wife. That's a priority, and we appreciate that she allows you to do this thing late on a Saturday night. I know it's not the optimal schedule, but she works with you, so we're going to work with her a little bit on that. And then, obviously we're going to be off for Memorial Day in May. But, we're going to the next generation car next season, so I feel like it's going to be interesting. I know I'm going to be out of my comfort zone for sure. It's not a car that I've particularly liked and particularly have done very well at, so it's going to be a challenge for me, and it's going to be a challenge for everybody. That car's a whole different animal than what we've been used to. So, looking forward to it. All the co-league items we got together and drafted the schedule up. This is kind of what we figured would be, a really good schedule. And I'm excited to go to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We have a lot of Canadians in our league, both Cup Series and Challenger Series. Challenger Series, we don't have any announcement for that at the moment, so still waiting on that. But we got a lot of Canadians in here, so I feel like it's only fitting for us to go out to Canada and put on an event out there too.
Jeff Wright, appreciate your time. Anybody else that comes to mind here while we have you in the booth?
Yeah, just everybody involved again, man, and everybody at VSPEED. So you and Connor are up in the booth every single week. And Logan called a handful of races. Eddie Smith and Adam Baker, Alec Martinez. I mean, we've truly got the best broadcast team partner in the business right now. And we're excited to bring you guys back for another season and to cover us, hopefully for seasons to come. So just thank you to everybody.
Jeff Wright, winner here tonight at Las Vegas. We appreciate your time and all the compliments. Look forward to season 4 with you. So with that, there's the schedule on your screen again starting February 1st. And hopefully schedules don't conflict. Hopefully we have Connor Horn back up here in the booth with us.
Certainly hope so. Hopefully we see another good title fight as well. A lot of very interesting tracks on that schedule. Next gen's going to be a big learning curve for a lot of drivers, I think, but it's a pretty fun schedule. Auto Club Kern County is on that schedule. We didn't even talk about Kern at the very beginning of March in the next gens. That's going to be wild. The old version of Atlanta returns in a different time spot, not the regular season finale. That's moved to Bristol, so that's going to be chaotic. Hopefully not with multiple sessions like we saw this season. But then you got your classics. You got Canadian Tire, obviously different. Dega, Kentucky, Richmond, Vegas is in April. New Hampshire gets another crack on the schedule. And then the Chase is pretty interesting as well. Next gens at Michigan should be pretty interesting. Iowa's a very sketchy track in a next gen car. And Chicago and Dover, Miami, a very interesting 4-race stretch along with Iowa to get to your championship battle in the middle of June. Should be pretty fun.
That will be again at 10 p.m. Eastern Time when we go back live there for season number 4. But for everybody that made this possible, Jeff Wright, Chad Klinger, Reggie Ortega, Brian Chambliss, all the admins, I think Bryce Shoemaker was included in that list at one point. And for everybody that's sponsored here in the Saturday Night Racing League, M&J Distributors, of course, it was the main sponsor of this series. You've got Clark Print Shop, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and of course, 29 Graphics. This is Bradley Cooper on behalf of Adam Baker and Connor Horn telling you to have a great rest of your weekend. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time here on VSPEED.